Thanks. How are you, Tony?
Good, good. I decided to take my workstation outside today. I'm still in the patio, but get some fresh air as well. And we have also our colleague and friend. You saw him on Friday. He did a great job, and he's back for more. Timur Talui, CEO of FileYourTaxes.com and ProTax Pro Professional Software. Timur, can you hear me?
Yes, Tony, how you doing? Thanks so much.
Awesome. So we thought today it could be a triple showdown to give everyone a good idea and perspective of the industry. And so I want to start by going over some numbers, Timur. Last week, you told me that the industry is down by a certain percentage. Do you want to go over that and explain how
Yeah,
that's
let me
going?
share my screen here. I think it'll be helpful to show you what I'm talking about. But the IRS publishes every week some filing season statistics. Can you see them up on the screen there, Tony?
Yeah, I see him.
So, if you look there, the total returns received, the IRS is down 15% of returns as of April 19th. So if you thought this was a regular year, they have 90 or 95% of the returns in already. But what's even crazier is when you look down here about tax professionals, normally they would have had over 70 million tax professional returns. This year, they only have 53 million, which is a drop of 24%.
Wow.
So what that means, Tony, 1 out of every 4 customers hadn't made it to their tax preparer office last week. And so if you take that to your business and your tax office, we're basically saying that, if you had 100 customers, 24 of them haven't come in yet. 200 customers is 25. So I think that tax preparers are probably seeing a drop in their business, but it's nationwide. And I think those customers are still out there waiting to come in. Wouldn't you say, Carlos?
Well, yeah, check this out. Look at the total refunds. They're down 12%, 15%, and the amount is down 12%.
Do you guys think that it's mostly the people that owe money are the ones that haven't come in yet, or is it a little bit of everything?
Well, if you look at this data here that Carlos just pointed out, that's what Carlos was saying is you're down 15% of the number of refund filers. And yeah, if I owed the IRS money, I'd be waiting until July 15th to pay them for sure.
Well, I don't understand why, if someone's getting a refund, why they wouldn't file. Why are they waiting? See? Because the amount of refunds is down $12 billion.
And the number of them is down 15%. You see that?
Yeah.
Wow. So then we have a lot of viewers here tuning in. And so anybody that's listening, ask your questions now. We want to hear from you. Is your office also experiencing some low numbers? Because as you can see, the industry is down 25%. So would love to hear from those viewers in the comments. Are you guys higher than 25%, lower than 25%? Where do we stand? For Lopez Tax Service, Carlos, are we pretty much average? I know we're a bit behind at our own tax and accounting office, but I'm not sure where we stand.
Yeah, we're behind 17% as far as e-filing receipts. So for us, that's really unusual. We're usually ahead 15% by this time of the year.
So you're seeing that 25% mismatch too, huh, Carlos?
Yeah, we're behind 17.1 or something like that percent.
Yeah, as I've been talking to tax offices, I'm saying, it's challenging because tax season is normally 100 days. This year it's 190 days.
Yeah, they added 90 days.
Yeah, so people that have temp employees or they have, advertising budgets and stuff like that, it's really thrown off your ability to spend the money wisely and cap your expenses. They've had to spend money on advertising and employees a little longer. So, it's definitely a challenge. But I would still suggest that, maybe don't advertise as much. But what we've seen in our information is like it's a flattening of the curve. I know everybody likes to say that. But normally this big spike of people that come on April 15th, we didn't get that, even on our do-it-yourself product, because we offer both a preparer product and a do-it-yourself product. So the do-it-yourself product normally spikes huge on April 15th. We didn't see that. We saw it was tapered off. And then normally April 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, you got no business because everybody's gone. But people keep coming. People keep coming slowly. So I think if your tax office is available and you make yourself available to your customers, people are thinking about it. They're not acting as quickly as they have in the past. But make sure people know you're available through social media, through emails, through communications. And I think they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're starting to trickle in. I think the biggest thing that's keeping them out is if they had a marginal refund, let's say, or I think since they're got the stimulus check, they're figuring, well, you know what? I'm going to space this out. We'll get the stimulus check, especially for couples that have 2 or 3 kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that could be $3,400. Let's space it out. And then we'll get our refund in July. And that way we'll have extra money for the whole year. I think that's what people are doing.
That makes sense. A lot of people treat their tax refund as their savings plan.
Or they treat it as their rent payment or something, you know. I think people are just holding off. I think they're spacing it.
Perfect. Yeah, we're getting some comments here. Mr. Charles Wagner Charles is saying he's down 15% compared to last year. So that's good compared to being down 25% like industry average. Oh, here's another question. Should I keep my seasonal employees on payroll in case there's a surge next month? It looks like people are thinking as soon as the shelter in place dissolves and people could go back into the economy, that there's going to be a big surge in clients coming into the office. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Carlos? Do you think people are just going to rush in a few weeks back to us, or are they going to wait till July 15th?
Well, I think it's hard for me to say, because if I'm wrong, then I'm going to be, ostracized. I think you ought to keep your part-time people on call.
Okay.
Yeah, so that way when you tell them, you know what, in case we get busy, I can call you back, but expect to be called back in the beginning of July. And
yeah, I think there's going to be a big boom at the end of July too. And I really agree with what you said, Carlos.
And then a lot of businesses, I know a lot of my business clients, I called them up and they go, hey, what's the rush, man? We have till July 15th. But I just got a chat. Yeah, Lynette just said, I think they'll wait until July 15th. So I think they're going to wait till the end of June, beginning of July.
Well, also, people are afraid to go into confined spaces. And so people may not be comfortable going to a tax preparer's office in April and May, but they will probably be in June and July. So I think that makes sense too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are just holding off because of the stay-at-home order, shelter in place.
That makes sense. For a question for Timur. So as a tax business owner, and if I have a tax office, what do you recommend I should do with those clients that don't want to come in yet need to get their taxes done? I know there's different portals out there. There's different solutions. Should I just wait until they do come in to avoid any risk with cybersecurity? Because I know I've heard different comments of, virtual tools are great, but they pose more risk. I don't know how true that is, or where your take is on that.
Well, there was a story that came out that a lot of tax preparers were using remote desktop tools, and they were using just the free version of it without any sort of security and without any sort of data protections. And so there is some risk that tax preparers were having there. In tax preparers, we have a higher standard than a lot of people. We even have a higher standard than HIPAA and doctors do for protecting data. And so, if you're going to use a tool, you need to make sure that, the data gets encrypted before it gets sent there. It's encrypted while it's there, and make sure it stays in the United States. We've talked about that at the Tax Fest so many years. Tax Fest is a great thing. I'm glad Carlos and the team moved it to December.
Thanks.
I'm really refreshed because June 15th would have been a tax deadline. It would have been hard to do a session. So I'm really excited. And all the tax law changes, Make sure you guys sign up for Fest, because December is going to be a time when the IRS finally releases the forms, so we'll know how to do taxes. But so on the other side, if you have a software like ours, like ProTax Pro, we have built in this client portal where you can send a message to your client, and with their phone, they just snap a picture. They don't have to download an app. They just get a text message. They click the link. They snap a picture of their W-2s, 1099s, the EIC, due diligence documents, whatever it is you need to do the tax return. They scan it in there using their phone, and then you have it on your screen. You can do that return. When it comes time to sign, again, you text them a link. They push the button. 8879's there. They're able to sign. I know my competitors have other sort of products and services like that. So like I always say at Fest, we're tax preparers. We're held to a higher standard. So go to your tax software provider and ask them, what solutions do you have for me to connect to my customers? Obviously, I'd love you all to come use ProTax Pro, but I know you guys all have your different softwares out there. So ask your software provider. Most of us have some sort of solution to allow your customers to upload documents, for you to send out 8879s for a signature. Because if they have that, the tax software company is going to make sure they comply with the rules for tax preparers. So you have less risk in using a product from your tax software provider than you do by using a product that you found on the internet for free or something like that. So that'd be my advice. Check with your tax software company and find a way to do that. But like I said earlier, keep marketing those people, because as Carlos said, they're beginning to trickle in, beginning to wake up and think about taxes. And I think it's our turn to remind them that we're here and bring them into our offices, or bring them online, however we're going to do it.
I mean,
Timur, I know that you're the professional as far as it comes to cyber risks and so on. And one thing that I've always been concerned with is, are there cyber risks to have your employees work at home? Doesn't that seem risky to you?
Well, here's the thing. I had a conversation with our business owner, and I said, I'm worried about my employees working from home, because how are they going to keep track of time? How are they going to do this? And the other business owner said something really smart. It's the people that you have to worry about their time when they're in the office are the people you have to worry about their time when they're not in the office.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the same thing goes for cybersecurity and hygiene. We talked at Fest a lot about the importance of a security plan and educating your employees about the importance of security and how to do it.
Yeah.
Employees that you trust in the office, more than likely you can trust at home. And just remind them, don't print things out. Don't give a tax form to your kid to color on the back of as their art project, but keep everything on the screen, work from the screen. And I think that the folks that you've trained and you trust in the office will be trained and you can trust at home. How about you, Carlos? How are you dealing with any of that? I mean, the IRS is even sending people.
Yeah, I didn't let any of my preparers work at home. What we did was we installed plexiglass shields in the workstations, and then we put hand sanitizer in the beginning, in the entrance. And then we only allowed 10 people at a time in the office. So we had to limit it to 5 employees. And then we would tell the clients when they would walk in, and it was really cool because a lot of them understood. We would tell them, can you wait in your car, and then we'll call you as soon as someone leaves. Because I noticed that the stores are doing that now. Costco is doing that, Target, Walmart. So that's how we controlled it, because I just couldn't imagine taking that material home. And so that's how I feel about it. As you can see, I'm still in the office. I got about 30 tax returns behind my shoulder here I got to work on. So
yeah, if you could see my desk, I got about 15 of them here myself too.
But when you get done with yours, can you come over here and do mine?
Yours are probably too hard for me.
I'll put them in a box and ship them to you. How's that?
That sounds great. Get my kids' color on the back of them. You'll get a picture like this back there, Carlos.
Yeah, I got a little one for my grandson. But here's another great question that this is going to be for Timur. And that is, do you think, Timmer, that, because I know you have a lot of inside relationships with some IRS executives. So do you think that the IRS is going to extend the tax season from September 15th to October 15th for the corporations?
So for those people that are under extension already,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
If I had to bet, I'd say no. And the reason why is because if they do that, then they'd have to probably push off estimated payments. You know, they already pushed the estimated payments and from the April and the June.
Yeah, April 15th and June 15th, they moved both of those to July 15th.
Yeah, and so I think if they push out more deadlines, they're going to push out estimated payments farther, and then I don't think they would have the support of everybody to like not collect the money. But I don't know. I honestly haven't heard anything. I appreciate you think that I'm connected into the highest sources of knowledge, but I mean, we haven't heard anything about that. I mean, the original extension date was just the payment date. Then they went back and then they moved the filing date, but they still hadn't moved the June 15th estimated payment date. And they didn't move that until what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? So I think that they're kind of done moving dates, but you know, I could be wrong. I don't know.
Another thing that they also did in the very beginning when they said they were extending the filing date to July 15th, they said, but we're still by law going to collect interest on the amount due. Then they changed that also. So now they're not going to charge interest or penalties if you haven't paid or postmarked by July 15th. So that was a good deal.
So Carlos, I mean, one of the things that you talked about was, you know, your plexiglass shields and sanitizer and stuff like that. What can like a small office do that's just maybe, you know, a couple of tax repairs or just the owners? Like, is that something, was that easy to do that somebody can just go out to Home Depot and set that up? Or I know a lot of people are afraid to go places. What can they do to reassure their customers?
Well, we went back to Home Depot to get a couple of more plexiglass sheets. Gone.
Really?
So I guess just go in there wearing a face mask, because of course, you know, the face mask only keeps your personal mist from going out. It doesn't protect you from mist coming in unless it's one of those KN 94s or whatever, 95s.
Yeah.
But I recommend if you have a small office, be careful, really careful. Because you don't know where people have been. I didn't know anyone who was sick from the virus until yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of our employees' uncles got sick from it. And until then, because Monterey County has over 660,000 inhabitants. 167 people got infected, and I think 59 were tested positive. 2 have died, 3 have died. That's 0.00001.
Yeah, it's kind of Ventura County story too.
So, you know, it's just common sense. The virus doesn't like sunlight. It doesn't like heat, but it loves damp, moist places like your home, your bathroom.
That's why I keep our windows open. That's why I tell the office too, when we're at the office, get the doors and windows open, get a breeze through so you don't have you know, humidity build up in your office. I think that makes people feel more comfortable.
I just got a comment here that businesses that are contacting me now are only doing it because it may be a requirement of the PPP loan request.
Huh.
But you know what they're saying now? That money's gone. There was so many applications in the queue that, but they changed the requirements. They're more restrictive now, but now they're saying it's gone, but still apply.
Wow.
Yeah, I know what, a couple of days ago, Trump signed the latest bill to replenish some more of that money, but we'll see how long that lasts because a lot of people are scrambling.
Well, that's what's gone, is that.
Oh, wow.
The replenishment gone.
That's
So
crazy.
I don't know. I wonder if that's the answer, to just keep throwing money at it, or is it just to safely open up the economy again? But we'll definitely, we'll see.
It's not good to live on a credit card. We all know that. If you live on a credit card, eventually you're going to have to pay it back or go bankrupt, lose a lot of stuff. So I think we just need to go back to work. Just be careful.
Yep, no, it has to happen.
Talking about going back to work, I saw a story or an article today that the IRS is calling back thousands of employees. I don't know if you saw that, Timber. My question to you is, do you know what IRS services are still available or still open? I thought I heard somebody said that the fax machines are not being answered. So if you send an SS4 through fax, they're not getting a reply because there's nobody there to add paper to the fax machine.
Well, they stopped processing paper returns, and they stopped answering the phones because there's no one there to answer phones.
Wow.
And I know the victim assistance program, if you were a victim of identity theft, that has reduced support. But I did also hear that they were going to try to, like you said, enable some folks to get back to work either remotely or back in their offices. I'm not sure what the plan is, but I do know they're working really hard to try to get people back going again because they realize that it's a real challenge for a lot of taxpayers that need help. And I mean, I don't know about you, but our phones seem to ring off the hook with people thinking that we can give them the support that the IRS should give them around their economic impact payments or stimulus payments or return rejected issues or any sort of thing like that. But the IRS services we definitely need them to come back online sooner rather than later because they're such a good resource, and the vast majority of it's all great information. It really helps taxpayers. So hopefully that does get put back out there.
Yeah, people are asking us. I had a client call today and go, "Hey, I got my stimulus payment. It was $20. Can you tell me why?"
Weird.
Well, somebody called me and told me they got their refund, but it was way less than it was supposed to be. And what happened? And he calls me back a couple days later and says, "Oh, that was my stimulus payment. I got my refund now." So, just I said, "Well, good luck finding out what's going on because there's no one there to answer the phone." They're starting to send out the payments by check now too. That first wave was something like 80 or 90 million payments. It was the biggest cash payment out through the tax system in the history of the government.
Wow.
The next week, I think they said 8 or 10 million. And then, but they start sending checks now too. So we'll start seeing checks come off the line.
And the people that are getting checks are the ones that did not do direct deposit, right? Is that mostly who they are?
So if you filed a return in 2018 or 2019, so the tax year 2018 or 2019, the IRS took your direct deposit information and pushed that through. And if they had it, I think you got paid out on that first day. Now, then they put up that Get My Payment tool, where if they didn't have your direct deposit, meaning you owed money and did a direct debit, because they won't take your payment bank account number and send you a refund to it, only if you got direct deposit.
Got it.
And then, or if you had filed and written a paper check or filed and got a paper refund or had no balance due or anything like that. So they put that Get My Payment application up so you could go in there and update your bank information if you were slotted for a paper check. But then they started working with the Social Security Administration and Railroad Retirement Board. And so they got all the account numbers for Social Security and Railroad Retirement. So I understand there's going to be another bump of payments when that data all flows in and gets migrated in. And then, you know, they're still trying to get people to go to the Get My Payment tool to update that. And they're still trying to get folks that don't have a filing requirement. You know, if you make $24,000 as a married person or $12,000 as a single person, did I just say that right? I think so. And you don't have a filing requirement because you have a business or something like that, you can go to the non-filers entertainment here tool at IRS and inject your information there. One of the challenges, we talked about this on Friday, Tony, one of the things is that a lot of people thought, oh, I'm not going to, like Carlos said, I'm not going to file until July, but I want to get my economic impact payment today. So they went to the non-filers entertainment here, entered their information, but that revenue procedure I showed you, what that thing does is it files a tax return just showing $1 of income. So then when you want to do your tax return, you have to file an amendment, amending the $1 of income to be the new return. So taxpayers that have that strategy are going to find a really tough time in a little while when they have to go to file a return, or their tax preparer is going to have a real fun time. We're going to have a great time filling out amendment forms to send along with the 1040.
Yeah.
And they can't e-file because the e-file, you get one e-file, and that non-filers entertainment here goes through the e-file system. So your social security number is now used in the e-file system. If you do the non-filer entertainment here, it's when you go to file a tax return, you'll get rejected duplicate. You'll have to mail it in on paper with the amendment. It's going to be a real challenge.
Hey, Timmer, do you think that as small business owners in the tax preparation industry, that we should really take a serious look at DIY, do-it-yourself tax software?
Well, you know, it's funny because I told you we offer both a do-it-yourself program through fileyourtaxes.com, and then we sell our professional tax software like at protaxpro.com, you know, into it as TurboTax and Pro Series. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. I think you should, because even before this was going, I can show you a March thing from the IRS, that same chart I was showing you before. Here it is, right? We have the e-filing receipts. This is before, this is March 20th, so before they extended the tax deadline. You see tax preparers were down 2.2%. Self-prepared is up 3.6%. And it would probably end up evening out towards the end of the year because usually the preparer folks come a little later. You know, there's a lot of things happening. But even last year, you know, self-prepared took a little bit of bump up. And so in a case like this, when you have people staying at home, they're not coming to the office, they may be going online and trying to do their taxes themselves. If you as a tax office have that online presence, then when you market, and you market in your church or your community group, you're advertising to people that go to preparers and advertising to people that come into your office, or sorry, that would go online and do it themselves. So if you said to someone, hey, you can go online and find some, you know, big company that doesn't care about you or your taxes, or you can come onto my online do-it-yourself platform and file your return. I think the average taxpayer would pick you because they have an affinity with you, because they go to church with you or they're in some community group with you. And they know that if they mess it up or get stuck or have trouble, you're there to help. And so many more people are doing the returns themselves but asking for help at the end. And so you would be there to help them, and you could still make some money. If they do it themselves, you'll get a referral fee. If they need help at the end, they'll pay you. But they're staying with your brand and your identity. So when they do need help, when they do have a life change, when something happens, they do need a tax preparer, you're still front of mind for them and engaging them. So I think the online presence is two things, Carlos. One is it gives them the ability to make their advertising dollar go farther. If they, again, if you advertise to your church right now, you're only advertising to half the church because the other half the church does it themselves. If you're you know, if people have kids that go off to school, they leave town or leave the area, they're leaving your brand, they're leaving your offices. If you had the online presence, you could get some of them to stick with you and stay. And people's lives get simpler. Sometimes they get more complicated. As it gets simpler, they go online. If they can stick with your brand, it stays with you. So that's why the fileyourtaxes.com product, and actually, if you're a preparer and you sign up with ProTax Pro, we give you automatically for free a link where you can market that do-it-yourself product on your website. And then we give you the ability to brand it with your logo and put extra features into it so that that brand relationship stays. But yeah, it's a basic offering of the ProTax Pro product to get you the online presence. And we really think that it helps people to grow business and use their marketing money more effectively.
Well, in these tough times, and I've preached this for years, is if you're going to be in this business, you need to add on other services, ancillary services. You need to add on bookkeeping, sales tax, payroll, do it yourself, which we're looking at seriously for this year. And I got another question here. Let's see.
I got one about CTEC, if it's CTEC still open and running.
Yeah, that's what I got here is CTEC still serving the California tax prepare? As far as I know, they are. As far as I know, they have not extended the October 31st registration deadline. You still have to have all your continuing education hours in. So,
you know, my wife's an occupational therapist, and her deadline for continuing education is April 30th. And they didn't extend that or do anything. So I don't think they have much compassion for professional continuing education deadlines. So I would have thought they would have extended her continuing education deadline a little bit longer, but they didn't.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the IRS did not extend the enrolled agent deadline either.
Got it. I'm looking at some questions here on Facebook.
Okay.
There's a comment that says, are you saying I could have my own do-it-yourself software with my logo? Is that how you work, how your software works, Timber? Like Lopez Tax Service? Could it be like Lopez Tax do-it-yourself and your engine powers it, but it's our colors and our logo and our face?
Yep. Go to protaxpro.com and create an account. And then give us a call, or we'll give you a call, and we'll get that set up for you. It's one of the offerings that we have is a private branded do-it-yourself site, so you can be out there competing with all the big boys in town. It can be a game changer for some of the businesses.
Awesome. And then there's another comment here that says, what computer laptop do you recommend to start off in the tax business? So that's a great question, because many of you have heard we have a raffle going on. We're gonna raffle, it's a Cinco de Mayo raffle. We're gonna raffle away a Dell computer. Dell Technologies is our new partner, and they're gonna start up the partnership with the free computer. We're also gonna raffle away some scanner, signature pad, and Timmer, last time we talked, you were gonna let me know if you're gonna raffle away some of your tax software.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Let us know here live. Is that a yes?
Yeah, we'll do it. Maybe we'll raffle off a private label DIY too.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. So you heard it.
Get the private label, so we'll give that away for free and a software for free. How about that?
I love it. So you heard it here first. If you want your own do-it-yourself private label software, enter into the raffle and you could win. So let us know in the comments if you're interested in the DIY or in the raffle. That'll be great. That's cool, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Thanks, Carlos.
Excellent.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on. Great conversation. We had a really good audience. So those of you that are viewing and listening to us, keep in touch, because we will bring you news every day at 10 in the morning and at 4 p.m. with the latest breaking news. And we'll be sure to have Timmer back for some more content and education. And this December, Timmer will be one of the speakers at the fest. Timmer, that's going to be great.
Exciting. Like I said, I really think you made a good decision moving fest to December.
Oh, thanks.
It changed all of the tax laws. I mean, IRA withdrawals, the all these things that they've now changed, they're not going to have forms ready in July. You're going to be teaching on the old forms in July. When December comes, you'll be able to talk to people about what they need to do in January to prepare people's taxes that took advantage of these tax benefits. I think it's so important that we get our community educated, and it's so great that you guys provide that education, that December is the right way to do it. And speaking of education, Tony, they want to know how to enter the raffle. That's the most important education we can do today.
Yeah, I see some comments here. So to enter the raffle, go to our website, and I'll put the link here in the chat box. That's cool. Today we have an audience on Facebook, but also an audience on Zoom, and so I'm glad you guys are sticking with us. So I'm gonna add the link right into the Zoom chat. So
yeah, go to latinotaxpro.org, look on the very top banner, and it'll say enter the raffle here.
Yeah, now it includes ProTax Pro software, so that's gonna be awesome.
Cinco de Mayo raffle. That means
that's my brother's birthday,
means
Carlos.
May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo is my brother's birthday, Carlos. You know that?
Does anybody even know what the Cinco de Mayo is all about?
Tell us.
Tell the audience.
It was when a small Mexican army defeated the French army in Puebla, Mexico. And it is not celebrated in Mexico.
Not at all, huh?
It's an American holiday. But that's cool.
Well,
Tacos and beer.
I think I might stay home from work then, just to celebrate it.
Do it, Tim. Do it. I mean, hopefully soon we could all hang out, have some celebration in real life. But I mean, in person.
Well, you've been asking us all the questions, Tony. Let's ask you questions. Speaking of hanging out, what do you think about the tax forums? Are they going to happen?
The IRS tax forums, hopefully they do happen sometime this year. They provide a lot of good education and resources, but it's going to be tough having a tax forum in July, right when the end of tax season, the new tax season deadline is July 15th. That's when the Dallas forum is scheduled to take place. So I wonder if they're going to move that one. They haven't announced any changes, but the other tax forums are scheduled for September and August. So they may stick to those dates. However, what happens if there's new regulations across the country where you're not able to sit next to somebody that needs to be 6 feet apart, right? Or where you may need to wear a mask at the event at all times. I could see that happening. I know we discussed this, Timber, that if they do the new capacity rule or regulation, there may be less people in one location, which may affect the numbers of any of the events.
Yeah, I think that's
well, you know, at the forums, it opens up at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. And usually everybody is just jam-packed at the entrance.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Put a bunch of 6-foot X's on the floor to make sure everybody stays there safe. And what are they going to do when they rush into the exhibit hall? Man, maybe it'll be virtual.
That'd be
interesting. Stay tuned for more. Perfect, guys. Well, thanks so much, Timber, Mr. Lopez, for being with us, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Tony, for setting this up.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Tony. Thanks, guys.
Right. See you guys. See you, Timber.
Bye.